Emigrating from the UK in 2005, I'd always enjoyed climbing Munros. In fact, I've currently climbed 182 of the 282 Scottish mountains over 3,000 feet, with 79 of those since I've been based in New Zealand. Many question this type of peak bagging, but many more enjoy the challenge and the opportunity to see parts of the country which would otherwise not be visited. New Zealand is stunningly beautiful, and I liken it to Scotland on steroids. It is generally much more remote and serious country, especially in the Southern Alps. Being based in the North Island, I wondered about an achievable list of the highest peaks that might provide some similar inspiration to the Munros. We have our large volcanoes around Ruapehu, Tongariro and Taranaki, but we also have a spine on the eastern side of the island with several groups of high non-volcanic peaks. 1,700 metres seem to be the magical height to provide a selection of peaks and tops in some of the most fabulous areas of the North Island. Some are quite challenging to get to, others a lot more accessible. Some groups can easily be done in one day, others require a mini expedition just to get to. So, the North Island 17s include 27 peaks over 1,700 metres with another 12 which I've included as subsidiary tops with less than 50 metres separation from a neighbouring peak. This makes an interesting and fairly challenging target for those inclined, with a variety of access requirements from a fairly easy stroll to complex remote off-piste peaks requiring permission from private landowners. Having pored over a lot of mapping to refine this list, I may well have missed something, particularly in the tops category around the volcanoes. If you think something should be added or deleted, please let me know in the comments. The 17s are found in 6 main areas spread from west to east across the central North Island. The highest of them are found in the volcanic areas of Taranaki, Ruapehu and Tongariro, with the rest of the non-volcanic peaks found on the eastern spine of the North Island in the Ruahine, Kauwaka and Raukumara ranges. Starting in the west, we have the isolated Taranaki with its striking circular bush edge, which provides 2 peaks and 1 top. The highest peak is Taranaki itself at 2,518 metres, with the Shark's Tooth just 8 metres lower and a little more difficult to get to across the crater rim. The final peak is Phantoms, 500 metres lower on the south side of the mountain with its nearby Syme Hut. At 2,797 metres, the highest peak of the North Island is Taranaki on Ruapehu. This group of 8 peaks and 3 tops are generally over 2,600 metres. Some are easier than others to reach, with the very top of Cathedral perhaps being the trickiest. Girdlestone and Peritiae Tonga are perhaps the most satisfying of the climbs. Most of the main peaks can be done in one very long day. The northern side of Ruapehu provides 2 more peaks over 1,700 metres, the Pinnacle Ridge at 2,234 metres and perhaps the easiest of the 17s, Iowakau Peak, next to the ski field itself. The Tongariro group includes 7 peaks and 2 tops, with the highest being the symmetrical cone of Narahoi at 2,287 metres. Tongariro itself is the next highest at 1,967 metres, and there are a number of other peaks and tops across the volcanic confusion of crater rims and eroded debris to Tomari Top above the recent active crater that opened up unexpectedly in 2012. Some of these Tongariro peaks are away off the normal tracks of the crossing and the circuit and make for a bit of off-piste adventure, especially in winter, in this desolate volcanic landscape. The next 2 peaks in the Kaimanawa Mountains to the east are perhaps the remotest of all the areas and the hardest to reach. Patutu at 1,718 is the easier, using the river for access. Mako Reiko at 1,726 is perhaps the hardest of all the 17s to reach, as access requires crossing 2 ranges and 2 valley systems at least. Both of these peaks are on private land where access permission is required from Heli Seeker, who manage the land. Then moving east is the next group of 1 peak and 2 tops on the Kaiweka range. Kaiweka J is the highest point at 1,724, and the group are fairly accessible in a day from Napier and the road end at Makahu Saddle. Then to the south are the two groups of the impressive Ruapehu range. Here there are 4 peaks and 4 tops along 2 ridgelines. Angaweka is the highest peak of this range at 1731 metres. This area is rugged and remote and has a distinctly South Island feel to it. Finally, the most northerly 17 is on East Cape, where we find Hikurangi, the highest non-volcanic peak on the North Island, and the first place to see the sun in the world. Land access permission is also required here from Ngāti Porou. Personally, as of the end of 2023, I've almost completed this list, with just the Kaimanawas and a couple within the Tongariro group to go, plus one of the subsidiary tops. While I have seen 1 or 2 similar lists, I've not seen exactly this grouping with the 27 peaks and 12 tops on that I have here. Others seem to have split the list between non-volcanic and volcanic peaks. If you like the idea of such challenges, perhaps give this list a go, and leave a comment below as to how you get on. It's a great reason to go even further off the beaten track in the wilds of the North Island, which can't be a bad thing after all. So, why not get out and get high?